Have you ever thought about how if Indiana Jones wouldn't have been in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the outcome of the story would have still be exactly the same? Like, the Nazis would have still stolen the artifact, opened it, and they still all would have died. Speaking of useless treasure hunters, let's talk about the lost treasures of Sir Hi there fellow role players and game masters, my name is Mr. Tarask and this is the Lost Treasures of Sir Canard, and I got this from the creators themselves. Thank you very much for sending this to me and I immediately liked it and I have my reasons for it. The creators themselves say it's some sort of Indiana Jones-esque way of approaching handing out magic items to your players, like lost treasures and artifacts and like really powerful stuff just like Indiana Jones, how you handle giving that to your players. And I immediately was interested because the book is actually referring to me when they say dungeon masters sometimes tend to give away way too many magic items. They tend to give away like magic items. Like, my players often just, like, go to the bottom of the ocean, find a chest, open the chest, and there's this random magic item in there. I have books with magic items, like Vault of Magic by Cold Press, for example. I just open it up, roll on the random rolling table, and give that magic item to the players. And although the players are mostly happy with that, and they like getting magic items, I'm just kind of dungeon master, and I'm the first one to admit, the kind of dungeon master that gives them out way too often, and it's just not special enough. Now, with the Lost Treasures of Sir Canard, it's completely different, and I absolutely like it for that reason, the way they approach it. So let me just quickly talk about what it is, what you get, and then I will give you two examples of magic items, of lost treasures, to just give you a feel of what you get for your money. So first, I should say there are two parts to this book. There are actually two books you're getting for the price of one, in a sense, because first of all, you get the book itself with all of the artifacts, like really powerful and special items your players can pick up, tied with a quest and an adventure almost that your players have to go through in order to pick up that magic item. But on the other hand, there is this person, Sir Canard, who has written kind of like a book, a journal that you can actually print for your players and you can hand it over to your players. And this is like one of those books comparable to what Dr. Henry Jones did in Indiana Jones. This book with all kinds of like hints and tips and stuff he found about certain magic items he has been searching for his entire life. He's searching for these magic items and he has clues and he has whatnot and he's written it all down in this journal, but he keeps like losing this journal because this is like the kind of dude, he's really good at his job, but just not good enough. He's almost like on the verge of discovering something, but then just something happens, something burns down or whatever, or there is a flood or whatever, and he's just unlucky in a lot of senses. And he has this journal and he keeps losing it. So our players eventually find this journal, so you as a dungeon master hand it to them, and they get all these magic items that have this title and like short descriptions and everything. And actually I have it open, and now that I start talking about it, I have it open right here. So this is the journal you can give to your players, and as you can see, there's a bunch of magic items in here, and he has like these short bits of text that he's written about everything and clues of how to find it. And that's actually the main thing about this book. If you want a magic item, it's really going to be a magic item. It's really going to be an artifact. It's just not going to be just like a random stab that shoots laser beams out of a dragon's eye or whatever. No, it's going to be an artifact that people talk about. Some people think it exists. Some people don't think it exists. Some people think it's just fairy tales. And your players, if they decide to hunt that magic item, they might find it, they might get it, and they might discover that it has way more powers or lesser powers than Sir Canard has written in his journal. So just to give you an idea of how it's all set up, here's a Chalice of many stones. One of the artifacts, one of the items that the players might want to hunt down, and there's a lot of stories. Some people think it exists, some people don't think it exists, and it is priceless. You cannot pay for it because it's way too expensive, blah, 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 blah. So the journal looks like this for the players, and there's a lot of like hints and riddles and everything in here. And you as a dungeon master actually know this information, of course, what the players are getting, but you're also seeing two other things. First of all, you are getting in the appendix, the magic items appendix of the book, you are getting the full description of the item, what it does, what powers it might have. As you can see, there's also like a ring of kings, there's a sword of the serpent, and there's a chalice of many stones. So all the information in one page, what you need about that magic item. But then if you go into the book itself, you actually have a written adventure, a quest about the chalice of many stones, while Sir Canard actively sought out and followed clues of many of the artifacts he studied. This particular fell practically in his lap. He overheard a citizen one night in a tavern talking about a valuable family heirloom the family once possessed. There is this entire lore, and they really go into detail about all these magic items, and they really give a quest that makes sense for retrieving these items. So as you can see, you got like this entire almost adventure, almost storyline to like receive one magic item. There are here is like there is a riddle, there is some math going on, there are even like random encounters your players can have, and it's like 4, sometimes 5 pages dedicated to finding one magic item, and your players can do this like in between their adventure. So if you have this main campaign going on and your players are like, I need this magic item because this magic item might help us with the quest that we're on in our bigger adventure, you might be able to hand them this quest and they might retrieve the magic item and actually have the help of that magic item. Another very cool detail they use in the journal of Sir Canard himself is this one, return to owner. And this is cool because this is a way for the players to actually meet the writer of the journal, and then Sir Canard himself can give these quests to the players in order for them to retrieve the magic item and then maybe decide to keep them for themselves or give them to Sir Canard. So it like literally says, if this journal is lost and found by someone other than its owner, Sir Canard, please return it to the Cloak and Stagger Tavern in Baldur's Gate. The owner of the tavern will pay a handsome reward for the journal's safe return and will ensure it to return to Sir Canard. Thank you in advance for your honesty and integrity. You shall be rewarded. I think this is really cool detail because your players can actually find this journal, do with it what they want, of course, like players do. They might tear it apart and start a bonfire with it, whatever, but they do with it whatever they want. But they can also try to return it to the owner, and then you can start this entire quest line, which is like just a small detail, but I like these small storytelling details a lot. So I have decided, for the sake of this video, to pick out my favorite magic item by far from the list and just show you what the players need to go through in order to recreate this spear that's called Killdragon. Basically, this is a spear. When you take it out, you put it in the air, you need to stay stationary, and basically it blinds everybody in a 30-foot radius. It knocks everybody prone in a 30-foot radius, except for friendly creatures. They actually like heal from it. So it's a really, really powerful magic item that some people really want to probably pursue. So let's just look at the small quest your players need to go through in order to find it. So first of all, like the other magic item I talked about, the Killdragon stats are right here, and they give like the exact numbers and math explanation of what it does, and there's some artwork, the same artwork as the players are getting, by the way. But the adventure is right here. It's called Killdragon, and it's really cool because this is one of those adventures where you want to find a weapon, but you actually need to find 3 parts of the weapon, and it will take the players, if they find out the clues within the clues from the journal, to where to go. They go to 3 places. And I'm just going to give you one example because I don't want to spoil everything. So, for example, they need to go to 3 places, and the first place is the Chapel of Light's Power. And this is like a chapel, and your players will enter it, and they will kind of enter a empty room, 20 foot by 20 foot if I'm not mistaken, and they see a wall approaching them. And if they don't do anything, they will crush to death, right? But they can still go out of the room. There's like one passageway where they went in. They can also go out of that. But if they stand somewhere else and they let the wall come into them, they will probably die and be crushed. Now, the thing about this is, there's a lot of hints to this because there's a lot of like wordplay here on like words that are scattered across that stuff where players can make out what they need to do. This wall is actually a very powerful illusion that almost nobody can see through. But if you let this wall come at you, right, it will just go through you. And it will show you one of the parts of the weapon. In order for you need to collect like the 3 parts in order to like create this weapon. So you can get one part of the weapon by having this wall run over you, but it's an illusion. It doesn't do anything, it just runs through you. But the thing is, the players need to not run away from that wall. They need to figure that out by the hints that are scattered across this temple's entrance, which I think is a really cool thing of approaching, a really cool way of approaching one of those puzzles. And all there is left to say is that if you want your players to get their hands on some really powerful magic items, some really powerful artifacts, and you want your players to really work for it, and you want some original puzzles, you want a really cool way of approaching it with this journal, and they have these clues, and they have to figure out where to go and what to do from this journal, then this book is really a must-have from the Dungeon Masters Guild. If you're interested in it, make sure to click the link in the description below. Also, I should add, there's a lot of places that the players go to which are mapped out in this book, which is just another great extra that you get from buying this in PDF form. Until next video, bye bye.